it's a pretty common thing you'll see on like Facebook or Instagram or other social media feeds that the mutable signs, the Gemini, the Sagittarius, Pisces, the Virgos, get a lot of flack. They're kind of vilified in a lot of ways. You see, like, um, look at how many serial killers are Geminis or Virgos or Sagittariuses, and it's there's some problems with the logic and the if you know really how astrology works, um, these things are pretty tenuous, the connections. However, I will say that these are called mutable signs, and they're called mutable signs because they fall at the end of the season. There are three types of signs in this, as we know. There are the cardinal signs, which are the signs that start off every season. So you've got your Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And these are the signs that really sort of seize the spirit of the new season. And they present the spirit at the four spokes of the wheel of the year, the equinoxes and the solstices. And then we have our fixed signs, which having the seasons, the spirit is taken, and at each of these spoke points, a new spirit is essentially born. This is a birth event at each of these spokes of the wheel. And if you look at the tarot, you can see that there's basically a card for each season. There's sort of this interesting revelation in there that there's somehow there's a new spirit that is reborn, or the same spirit that's reborn in each season. So the fixed seasons, the fixed part of the season is when this spirit is stabilized and nourished and brought into its full maturation, so to speak. It's like it's growing and it's coming into its own. Very important. And the cross-quarter holidays are found in the fixed signs, which the cross-quarter holidays are extremely important. This is midpoints between the solstices and the equinoxes in each season, and there are extremely important holidays that fall in these places. These are also places of equal light, and this is an extremely important point, which I can go into in a later video. So the last part of the season is, most people in modern astrological parlance call this mutable, but the traditional term for this was cadent. And cadent literally means falling. Falling is the same term that we get for a planet when it is in the sign of its opposing its exaltation. Same word. This is a sense of falling away. It's dying. So the spirit of the season is dying, and something new is coming. Now, change like this is always difficult. So the mutable signs get this difficult reputation for a reason, because this is the death of the god. This is prior to the rebirth of the god. This is the death of the god. And in some very seminal, primordial ways of thinking, this god is sacrificed. This is what the idea of sacrifice, this is where we get this. So you get the sacrifice of the bull, you get other sacrifices at these times of year to ensure that the new spirit that's coming in is embodied properly. So you get the sense now that this comes out of this dying and rising god tradition, the Dionysian / Bacchic tradition, which is much older than even those names. Um, and we don't want to make too many uh, generalizations in this, because there's different things going on all over the place in the world. We don't want to syncretize too much, but we can, if we look at this logic, we can learn a great deal about, particularly about the art of astrology and what's going on, and why this is this trope is not without a basis in ancient astrology. Now, to go a little further with this, the ruling planets of the mutable signs there's 2 planets that rule all of the mutable signs. And when we go into the winter time, the fall and the winter time, Jupiter rules these mutable signs. These are Sagittarius, which, as I create this video, we've just entered into Sagittarius season. The sun has just entered into the Sagittarius tropical constellation or sign. The next mutable sign after that is also ruled by Jupiter, and that is, of course, Pisces. And when we get into those, that's what I'm calling the infertile season, the season when the dying and rising god is in this subterranean phase, which means that the life force, going back to this tree of life metaphor, that the zodiac is in fact showing us a tree of life, the energetic movements of a tree of life. This is when the energy is in the ground, either descending or ascending. In Sagittarius, it's in its final and glorious ascent towards the root. And in Pisces, it is the sap is running up. If you live in a place like I do in New England, the Pisces season is when your sap is coming up. This is when you do your maple sugaring, or at least the sap rises, so then you can then boil it off and make your sweets. And if you look at the fertile time of year, the ruler of these mutable signs is Mercury. And there's a very different spirit to this. This is when the fruits of the goddess, her body becomes substantial, so to speak. I mean, it's alive during the winter, but it's becomes extroverted. It comes out. The presentation of leaves and eventually of the those sexual parts of the tree they'll be coming out. And the leaves, the fruit will eventually be coming out, the nuts, all of these things that are extremely important parts of the tree's life cycle. These are all presenting. And Mercury rules this. And the mutable signs, as I said, these are the ends of seasons. So these are when things are falling away. And what do we need to do when things are changing? Is we as human beings need to assess what's happened in this period of time and make plans and prepare for what's coming. And that's what these 2 archetypal planets do. These are, rather than initiating things exactly or fixing things, which are those are the responsibilities of the other archetypes. Mutable signs, we need to learn something. We need to figure something out. And we need to also present a basic energy to the world that will get us through these seasons. In the seasons of Mercury, we need to be reductive, because the world has become, the goddess has become flesh. So her presence, her bounty is coming out. We don't need to wish for it. We don't need to imagine it. We don't need to harden ourselves against the winter. We better damn well be counting and figuring out what to do to make sure that we use the bounty of the goddess, that we can be involved in its creation, and we need to be clever as individuals to make use of this bounty and possibly trade it, possibly make things out of it. If we've got apples, we can make cider. We can make, if we have honey, we can make mead. All of these things. These are the spirit of the summer and the spring seasons, and this is what Mercury does. He's not wishing for things. That's what Jupiter does. In the fall and in the winter, we are preparing for adversity, and that is essentially what Jupiter does in Sagittarius, specifically in the fall. We are facing adversity. There's also hunting season in this Sagittarian time. This is when we go out into the world and get a final harvest of flesh, so to speak, and bring that back to help us get through this this coming season, where this is where we get our archer and our the Sagittarian centaur. The whole idea of the body as a vehicle is extremely important on the Gemini and Sagittarius axis, and that's something I've gotten into in the past a great deal. So just as in Sagittarius season, we have Jupiter there giving us this courage and bringing us out to this one final quest before we go back into the root, into the keep, into the place where we will need to huddle together, so to speak, under Saturn's rule in Capricorn and in Aquarius. Once we get into Pisces season, we are, again, this is the death of a one of these seasonal gods, and we're preparing for the big rebirth now, which is at the equinox in the spring. There's this, as I said, this is when the sap runs up. This is where we're preparing, the life force energy of the tree is preparing to re-enter the world of extroversion. Jupiter is the archetype that rules this, because this is extremely internal. This is about visioning what's coming. This is a very imaginative, internal, and in many ways cathartic place where this is the big, preparing for the big rebirth. And the final 10-degree section or decan of Pisces is actually ruled by Mars in both the Chaldean order and the triplicity figuring. So this is, and it's about to pass into another decan at the equinoctial point in spring to Mars again, which is the triple Mars decan of the zodiac. It is Aries ruled by Mars, and it's also a decan ruled doubly by Mars. This is a very unique place. And the decanic, or the decans show us that if you're willing to go into this more esoteric understanding of what these archetypes mean, rather than just simply saying this, Mars is the god of war. Mars is the god of birth, the birth event, not the mother, the birth event, the emergence from the mother. Different meaning. You get conflict from this. This is always conflicted. So this is a little exposition, excuse me, of some of the meanings of the mutable / cadent signs. These are places of fall where there's a season is falling off, And that's always difficult in this way of thinking. We want to launch a new season, and that requires the sacrifice, and this also gets into the sacrifice of the king, the Rex Nemorensis, the essential idea of life. It gets into a very conflicted view of how life works that obviously goes deep into our history. So when we get into like Darwinian thought, where everything is about competition, everything is about brutal attempts to gain hegemony over the world, so species are all out there fighting each other. That idea was not brand new with Darwin. That is an ancient idea, and on this metaphorical level. I hope that is clarifying.